Good morning, everyone. It's starting off as a outdoor gloomy day, but it's fine inside, so it doesn't matter. Once we get to the point where we have nice days outside, I'll start filming outside again. Okay, for today, what we're going to talk about is, I've talked about prepping to make sure that you're ready for what's going to come. Well, we know something that's coming, and that is the president is forcing countries to cooperate. Countries that have basically, give us all the money you can give us, and by the way, go to hell, we hate you. And we give them the money. So, that's over. One, we're 37 trillion in debt. We don't have money to give to anybody. So we're going to cut back on that. But on top of that, you oppose a tariff that basically means they can't sell their goods here. So their economy is going to go down. And some of them have capitulated when at least it comes to taking the illegals that are here. And that's what they are. They're illegals. They're not undocumented. They are breaking the law. It's like our White House press secretary said. How many of these people that you're kicking out of the country are actually, criminals? And she said, all of them. If they're here illegally, they're criminals. Now, to make a point, we have people that are here illegally that are trying to make a better life for themselves, and there's just so much paperwork to do to get into this country sometimes that they come here and they work illegally in farming and manufacturing, housing, things like that. I don't have a problem with people trying to better themselves. I wish they do it the right way, because sometimes we do get criminals in that group. But the group that we've got now, it's full of terrorists, gangs, people kicked out of prisons. So the good people that I don't mind being here are going to suffer at the cost of these other people that are outright criminals. The president opened Gitmo, which is a prison, to hopefully put the hardened ones in. They came out of prison, they need to go right back into prison, and then they need to stay there and die there, because many of them are murderers, rapists, murderers, whatever. But anyhow, Canada and Mexico have basically capitulated, and their tariffs are on hold for 60 days, 30 days, whatever it was. They're on hold while they continue to negotiate. And they're going to take the illegals that belong in their country, and maybe some other ones. Mexico can take any Hispanic type, whether it's from Guatemala, or if they can't get them all the way down to Guatemala, Mexico will take them. Maybe Mexico will take them down to Guatemala. I don't know. The bottom line is they're going to help. Canada, they're fighting back a little bit, but they can't afford to fight. They can't even afford to survive cutting the money that we were giving them. We were giving them billions of dollars for nothing. Just hand out this money. It's not, if you're in government, it's not my money. I can hand it out as much as I want. It's not my money. It's actually the government's money, and we stole it from you, so we can hand it out. And that's what it is. Now you say, well, tariffs are bad. Do you know this country survived entirely on tariffs, until World War I. A little bit of the Depression added to that. But they couldn't get any money out of people from the Depression. But the economy was not doing well. And World War II started, so we started putting people to work. And then what we do, we put them to work, we tax the money. They created the IRS to tax the money that we were giving them for working for us. So if you were to completely abolish the IRS, we'd have to go back to tariffs 100%. And there's nothing wrong with that. Some countries do that. They have nothing. They don't have an income tax. They have tariffs. Most of the dictator companies do both. They have tariffs and tax the money from the people because they don't feel the people deserve anything. Half of them are so overpopulated they can't keep up with them anyway. They just as soon have them die off. That's the way this one world government is. All right, so we have a number of things driving prices up. The previous administration was driving prices up deliberately because when you spend money you don't have, you drive the price up. It's called inflation. So the previous administration was doing that on purpose because they hated people and they're trying to kill people. These are evil people in this one world government. It's in the Bible. That's how bad they are. It's the harlot system. So they've already done so much damage that it's going to take a long time to fix. The $37 trillion is going to take a long time to pay down, or we write it off. We write it off at the cost of a worldwide depression, though. So we got to be careful. So the bottom line is, what should you be buying before these tariffs go into effect fully? Now, China's already got some tariffs. I think they're 10%, having to do with the drug cartels and stuff, and sending fentanyl and other drugs over here. China doesn't care about us. They want to destroy us. So if they can send drugs to kill people, they don't care. So anyhow, what do you buy now before it gets too high? Well, our one world government billionaires like Bill Gates and others are destroying our country from within. They're burning down meat processing plants, chicken coops. They're coming up with bird flu, whether it's real or not. I don't believe it is fully the way they say it is, but if they can basically kill our food supply. Bill Gates has bought farmland, thousands and thousands of acres of farmland. I don't know if he's the largest farmland owner in the country, but he's close. And if he just turns a switch and shuts it off, we might have a problem feeding ourselves in this country. There's a place in hell for these people. I pray for them that they'll see the light, that God will reach them. But they've done so much damage right now, they need to pay a price for the damage they've done. All right, it's hard for me to do these type because I have a mixed emotion. I'm told to pray for my enemies. So I pray for these people that they will get salvation because the fruit of their behavior is not that of a Christian. But I'm not to judge. I leave that to God. However, what they've done, I pray, is reversed, and that they suffer while they're here until they leave to go to the final resting place, wherever that is. Because they've harmed a lot of people. People are going to starve and die because of what they've done. So, irregardless of anything else that's going on in the world, they've done major damage to us here in this country. They've weakened our dollar, put us in high inflation, and they've tried to destroy our food supply. Okay. They've also basically gotten rid of manufacturing. They cut off oil so that we had to buy our oil from overseas so that we couldn't rely on our own, and we have more than the rest of the world does, and they cut it off. That can be turned back on. Over time, we will get lower gas prices. But what's in the pipeline has to be emptied out and filled up with the lower stuff. Farming is going to have to recover, but these people own the farms now. These billionaires own them. Soros bought 400 radio stations, which should, just the last year of Biden, should have taken 2 or 3 years minimum to get past the regulations and all the stuff that he has to jump through. It was fast-tracked so that he'd own them. One of his radio stations is under investigation because they're the ones that were leaking where the DEA agents were going out to arrest illegals. They were telling them over the radio where they're going next because they were leaking it. There's someone on the inside leaking the information. I hope that person goes to prison. send them down to Gitmo where they belong, and the radio station needs to be shut down. But that's only 1 out of the 400. He can afford to keep doing this. Do you see how evil this is right now? I don't know if the United States is going to survive even under the current administration because of the damage done. And they're sending 500 to 1,000 people out of the country every day. Do the math. There's at least 2 million illegals here in this country. 500 goes into that. You just do the math. How long is that going to take? They've sent troops down to the border. We're going to get to the tariff stuff in the basic topic, but I'm just trying to describe the situation. It is not good. Well, what should you be buying? Everything. That's the problem. We can't buy food stock here because the farming, I mean, if you can buy stuff on sale, but the things that you would, vegetables and salads and things like that that are perishable that you can only buy so much of, do your best. Eggs are high, $10 a dozen now in some places, and they may continue to go higher because they're destroying the production. These places didn't burn down by accident. They were set on fire just like California was set on fire. These are some of the illegals that are here. That's their job, to destroy the country from within. They lost the election, so they don't care if the whole country burns now. These evil people. All right, I'm tired of saying evil people, but that's what they are. We don't manufacture things here. Now, Japan said they're going to put $1 trillion worth of manufacturing here, like cars and stuff. They're going to rebuild Detroit. That sounds really good, but that's not going to happen overnight. Frankly, I wouldn't buy a new car. I know people that have bought new Fords, brand new Ford pickup trucks, and have driven them 1 month out of a year, spent the rest of the time in the shop. They're trash. They're not being built well because foolish Americans are going to buy them, no matter how cheap you make them. Just don't spend the time and money on them because there's no competition. They can't make anything over there. Well, we need to pull all of our manufacturing back in. So, what do you need to buy? If you need to buy anything, find it on sale and get it now with whatever money you've got. Don't go into debt too bad on this stuff. This isn't that kind of a thing. You still don't want to be in debt any more than you have to. But have a budget, have a plan. Some of these things are not cheap, but appliances, they're all made overseas. So you need to buy them when you can. Now, if you need to buy a washer and dryer, that's always a big purchase item, and you're going to have to think about that anyway. But things like if you need a blender or a mixer or any of the smaller stuff, it's raining. Yep. See, I couldn't be outside. Chance of rain today. So, all kinds of appliances, radios, computers, electronics. Where are the computers and the chips manufactured? China and other countries over there. Taiwan makes a lot. But China's about ready to try to take over Taiwan. Metal products, aluminum and steel, come from overseas. We could mine it here, but they banned mining in this country. That will be overturned, but these people aren't going to just go out immediately and start doing this. It's going to take a while. What else should we be buying? I've been looking at a number of different things online. But we don't make hardly anything here anymore. Over-the-counter medicines. You should stock up on those. Most of them have long shelf life. Watch those. Now, I'm not telling you to take anything past an expiration date, food or medicine, but most of these are conservative estimates on when that product is no longer any good. If it says it's good for 2 years, I quite often, and I tell you what I do myself, and then you can follow if you want. I will take stuff a year over. It may lose some of its potency, but they don't become toxic in most cases. Look them up. Google everything you're going to do while we still have Google. They may shut down the internet. They may shut down your phones manufactured in China and probably have time bombs in them, back doors that they can spy on you or shut them down. But basically, anything you think you're going to buy, start shopping. And you don't have to buy new. A lot of times you're better off not to buy new. If you need a new car, I would look for a good used car. Why do you think I'm spending all the money on my car, keeping it running? I shouldn't have to spend this money again. I've had things that have run. I've got over 40,000 on my car. It is not even American made. It's sort of American made, but I had to put a new starter in a couple of years ago, and they put a Mitsubishi starter in it. So that's kind of the problem that you might have to deal with. On my car, because it's almost 20 years old, it's hard to find parts. But they can still get them because a lot of them are used in other vehicles. They don't have to supply parts to my car anymore. It's old enough. But I can get them from second-hand distributors and pay more, but I can get them. The problem is I can't work on it. All the work that's been done recently on my car that I've had to pay for, I could have done myself. But I can't crawl underneath my car. My car is really low to the ground. It's not a low rider, but I can't crawl underneath. I need a lift to get it up. Everything's been designed to lift up and be done that way so that the common person can't work on their cars. Now, when I had a garage, I had ramps that I could drive up on and work on my car underneath. But it used to be you could change your own oil. But now what do you do with the used oil? There's no one that takes it anymore. There may be some out there, but you have to drive. By the time you've done all that, you've wasted money in gas. A lot of food products come from overseas. We don't have olives here. Now, we might be able to get some olive oil and olives from the Middle East, from Israel. And I'm sure we're not going to put tariffs on them. But a lot of the stuff, a lot of the foreign foods and things we get come from Italy, and wine comes from France, and we can get things from various states. And they're all, Europe basically was on the process of being taken over by the one world government, and they haven't fully recovered yet. Some of the countries have basically stopped it, but the UK is basically still under control of the Muslims. And they hate America and they hate Israel. And so they're doing everything they can to cause harm. And they've got rioting in the streets over there from them doing their thing. So they got to still deal with it. They haven't confronted it fully yet. So over-the-counter drugs, if you've got prescriptions, keep them up to date. Make sure you have as long as you can buy ahead for those prescriptions, just in case they run out. The supply runs out. Okay, Kitty's up here. I'm going to grab him. Say hi. You going to bite me? Okay, then you can lick my hand. But now you're going to bite me. Okay, I can't have you biting me. Not while I'm trying to talk. It messes with my I can't even say it. Concentration. Okay. I've been doing a lot of just general talking lately. I've got an appeal out right now that basically says that if I cannot reverse with your help what YouTube's doing, this channel may go away. I can't survive on less than 100 views a day. I can't keep this channel open for that. I'd have to go back to work. And if I do that, I can't do the channel the way I'm doing it. I can't survive on, I can barely get by on 200 views a day. Some of the recent ones haven't made 200 views. My satellite costs me $165 a month for Starlink. I don't get a senior discount. They're in demand, so they don't have to cater to anybody. And there's nothing out here. If I don't have it, I'd have to drive into town to do a daily video. I have to drive into town the day before, upload the video, which takes about 2 hours. So I have to drive into town, sit for 2 hours and upload it, and drive back every day. Can't do that. I tried it. I can't come up with the ideas and concentrate when I'm trying to deal with all this other stuff. So YouTube is basically, they're digging their heels in. They're going, we're probably on our last leg of what we can do to destroy the world. They're going to come down and shut us down or take over. We're going to be bought out. So let's do as much damage as we can. Everybody that I know that's talking about YouTube, they're all complaining. The filters are basically going full bore. I think they got all the people that were working at Twitter and hired them in at Facebook and YouTube. Now, Facebook says they're not filtering, but they are. You don't change, a leopard doesn't get rid of his spots. You just stealthily hide in the brush. So if you're watching this channel and you watch these videos and you don't click on like and subscribe to keep this channel going, then you're saying you don't care if this channel survives or not. It's as plain and simple as that. It costs you nothing to like and subscribe. Watch the videos. I'm trying to give you helpful videos. Messages from God that He gives me, and topical ones like this to help you in your daily life. If you're watching them, you need to basically do the minimum, like and subscribe, and watch. If you don't want to listen to it, start the video, mute it, and go do your laundry. I get credit for it. And YouTube sees that people are watching. And eventually, they'll give up. But normally, they only filter me for a week a month. Right now, I'm in my second or third week of being filtered. It's full time now. There's no increase. I've even used the word rapture in my title, and I'm not getting the views. I got into the mid 200s when normally I get into 300, 400, 500 when I mention the word rapture. It's not even baiting people in. On one of the days, the day after I did the rapture, when I did the next one, it only had like 150 views. And I'll change the title sometimes. Sometimes I don't pull people in with the title. So I'll change that. If you watch them and you see that, that's why I do that, is to try to get past the filters and to try to help people find them. But the next day, on that next video, I couldn't even find my own video. I wanted to watch it myself to see if there was a problem with it. I do it anywhere before, as I'm editing it, but I wanted to see if it uploaded correctly. I had to go to my site and click on the video. I couldn't search for it in the general search and find it. That's how much they're burying my work. And I'm assuming they're doing it with all religious work at this point, and frankly, anything that has to do with the right, with MAGA, with Trump, with their current administration. And I think I posted it yesterday, but Trump took away Biden's security clearance and all the... Biden did it to Trump when Biden took over and Trump left office. He took away his security stuff in the first week. So Trump's doing the same thing. So it's tit for tat. But he doesn't deserve it. He was getting daily briefings on stuff. He doesn't deserve any of that. Not what he did to this country. He needs to be in prison. But short of doing that, he should have nothing to do with government ever again the rest of his life. And frankly, all the Democrats. There's a number of Democrats right now that are digging their heels in and fighting. There are people out there now in state governments and local governments that are refusing to cooperate with ICE. They need to go to jail too. I haven't seen anybody arrested yet, and I'm looking forward to that. They need to arrest these local government people and judges who are blocking what's going on. They need to be punished, and somebody needs to be made an example of to stop this. All right. Do what you can. Help me. Share the video. Tell your friends about it. Watch it yourself, and even if you don't have time to watch the whole thing, start it. Put it on in the background. I do this all the time. I'll start a preacher of my choice on my laptop, turn it up so I can hear it, and I'll walk around and do things. I'll do my dishes. I'll listen to them in the background. I don't have laundry yet. We're working on that. I did my laundry yesterday while I was out, but that's going to end shortly. I also got to go buy a P.O. box because I'm having trouble with the mail at my son's address, so I got to go get I had a P.O. box in Carrollton, but that was 30 minutes away. I'm going to do one locally. There's one about 5 minutes from here that I can go get a, Lord willing, get a P.O. box because I don't know if they have any yet. I haven't checked. I'll find out Monday when I go in. I have to take my car in again. I'm getting an oil change, which is natural, but I have to have the oil pressure sensor that tells me if I have oil pressure. It's gone out. That's $150. The oil change would be $100, so I'm looking at $250. I'm having to spend at least $250 a month on my car right now. And I'm not working. I'm on my fixed income of Social Security. I have a very small pension, and it goes to pay for my storage unit, which I can't seem to get rid of. I go through there, and I take stuff out all the time, but now I've got my son's stuff in there because he's on borrowed time where he's at, so I've got his stuff in there, and it's taken up a third. I was going to downsize, and now I got his stuff, so now I got to pay for that. I'm also paying for his cell phone, and I pay for his groceries off of my income. All right. I'm not complaining. I'm purging. I'm getting it out of my system. You don't hold it in. You hold it in, it's going to come out someplace. And it may come out wrong. You don't want to do that. I tell this to God all the time, but we're supposed to help share one another's burdens. So, if you can help financially, that's great. If you can't, pray for me in my situation. That I need anyway. And you can pray for free too. So subscribe, click on the checkbox so you get notified. Sometimes notifications work when you can't find a video, but sometimes they block that too. I get comments that show up 3 or 4 days later. After you've commented, I don't see them. And then I finally, because I have to basically go to the root comment section and scroll down and look at every comment and look for ones that I haven't read yet, because I don't see them. And I have people tell me they posted a comment and it disappeared. Evil people running this stuff. And we're doing our best to survive in it. But prep your food stores, prep anything of essentials, medicines that you need, prep anything that you think you're going to need before it goes up in price even more. It's going to go up in price, skyrocketing, then it will come down. But it's whether you can survive that time. Everything's going to come down because we're going to pull manufacturing into this country. This country is going to thrive again. We're going to get gas prices down. Everything's going to go better. But we've got a short-term mountain to climb. So make sure you got enough to get over that. You don't want to buy at high prices any more than you have to, but you do want to have what you need. What are you doing, kitty? He's pulling on. This is a mobile home. That's where a TV would go. There are straps in there to strap your TV in. This is 20 years old, this trailer. It's in good shape because it hasn't been used that much. But the straps to hold a big TV. Flat screens right now, you just get some duct tape and tape it to the countertop and you're fine. What are you doing, kitty? All right. I think I've talked enough. Be frugal, but get the things that you need. Yeah, I've got everything I need. And don't start the day without God. He will help you in making your choices. And He may, in fact, bring discounts to you that you don't have to go hunt and find. I've had people give me stuff out of the blue. How did they know I needed it? God. Because I didn't tell them. Trust in God, and you will have everything that you need for certain. I don't know if I'm going to need to use that kitty, but don't tear it up anyway. It's a hairbrush for getting hair off of furniture. My previous cats were orange, tabby type, one long hair, and his hair would be everywhere. And I'd have to brush everything so you didn't sit down. If I sat down in my suit on the couch or whatever, I'd be covered in hair. Things we do for our pets. All right. It's going to be okay. We will survive. But I worry about everybody. If you have a neighbor that you trust, you can let him in on what you're doing, but don't tell too many people that you're a prepper. Because if things go south, they're going to break down your door and take whatever you've got. And they won't care whether they kill you to do it, because they will survive, which is more important to them than anything else. It's going to be an interesting future. And we're going to get out of here eventually. Every year we keep saying it's got to be this year. We keep saying it's got to be this year. So I'll say it, it's got to be this year. Till we meet in the clouds. God bless.